We are going to be working on part 2 of our charity research. So we should have already done research on the 4 different organizations and come up with 2 that we feel are the most appropriate or the best that we found. So remember to find my charity research. I'm in classwork, and then I go down to PBA or project-based assessments. I'm going to click on that, open it up, go down to PBA 2.2 decision making. So the first step that I'm going to do is I'm going to review my completed part 1 packet with my podmates, and each partner is going to share the following information. So at the end of part 1, you had 2 different charity organizations that you decided on that would be good fits. So each member of your pod is going to share those 2 different organizations that you decided on after your research complete. You're going to tell your podmates the main reason that you chose each of those charity organizations, or the main reason that those things were the big factors of your choosing. And then you're also going to share why your podmates should agree with you, right? Because we're going to try to persuade everybody to pick one of the organizations that we selected. Once you have gone through the review of the 2 charities that you selected from the end of part 1, you are then going to decide as a pod which charity organization you will further research. And you must decide on one organization as a pod, right? If you're struggling to decide, write all the names of the organizations on a scrap paper and have someone else pick it at random for you. That way, it's an anonymous decision. Once you've done that, you're going to complete part 2, which is a decision-making document, independently from your podmates. And if you've all agreed on the organization, then you're going to have to explain what you shared that was in common that worked, right? That maybe somebody shared something that you also agreed with, or you felt was important about the organization, or maybe you guys actually shared some things that were different, but it resonated with you. Once you've completed that, you're going to submit part 2, and then you're going to start on part 3. So let's go ahead and look into the actual decision-making document so we know what we need to complete. So we're going to come to an agreement with our pod, and we're going to then decide what the organization is. So name of organization goes in the first box. Then I'm going to describe in detail the process that you and your pod used in order to determine which charity organization was the best for you to donate your money to. Share a quote from your classmates or yourself when you knew the decision was made. So, what did you guys do? My pod mates and I argued about the challenges different animals were facing, right? So what did you argue about things, or we listened and took turns as everyone spoke, or maybe you picked an organization name out of a hat. So what did you do? And what maybe was said? Maybe Stephanie in my group stated that this organization gives back not just to animals, but the local community. And that really resonated with me because, okay, so I really want to make sure I'm getting into what was that conversation? What did that conversation look like? Okay, and where was it? What was that point that you knew that you're like, aha? All right. Next, put in what do you like about the organization your pod or your pair agreed on. So what was it? Maybe you didn't originally have this organization as one of your selected 2. So what was it about it? So what did you like? I liked or appreciated that the organization helps animals in need and humans too. Okay, so maybe that's one of the things that it's right. It's helping animals and it's helping humans. Maybe that was the thing that you really liked about it. So what source did you and your partner, or you and your podmates use to research your selected organization? Include your URLs. So again, make sure you do have your sources here. And then how do you feel that this experience went for you? Really want you to describe the emotions that you felt when trying to share your opinion about the organization you picked. So think about, did you feel anxious? Were you scared? Were you nervous? That your group wasn't going to accept your charity? Why do you think you felt like that? And how did you feel after sharing and listening to your classmates? So this experience was stressful because, or maybe this experience was surprisingly simple, and I enjoyed talking with my podmates about the differences that charities can make. Okay, so anything you experience stress, you experience anxiety, how did you get over it? Right, so I was able to overcome those feelings by boom. Or maybe so and so was very nice and patient. Okay, so definitely think about the different feelings. Think about what your body was doing. Were you shaking your leg the whole time? Were you looking at your podmates when you were communicating? So this is definitely something that we don't always agree on things, and sometimes we want somebody to think the way that we think. And if you are working in a veterinary clinic and you think an animal needs a certain procedure, or maybe you don't think an animal needs a particular procedure, but the owner is pushing one way or the other, and you want to try to be persuasive. Whether or not that is ethical is to be determined, but maybe you want to convince somebody about which college you're going to have to go and attend to for your veterinary career. So this is definitely going to be a good experience and reflection for that. All right, so that is how you should complete your charity part 2.